Hello and welcome back to the Degenerate Gambling Show. I am your host, DJ Mitchell, without the right lighting, here to go back into Underdog Fantasy Drafting, right back into another, 2 or 3 drafts. I'm hoping to at least get 2 down. These drafts have been hit or miss. Sometimes I join to see where everything's at and it fills right away. And sometimes we're waiting around for a minute. So let's get started. I'm going to do the intro thing, the 30-second countdown. I didn't make one yet, but I'm going to really try to do it for next show. But I'm going to do that so then I have 30 seconds to get everything tweeted out. So here we go. Welcome back. As I just said, Degenerate Gambling Show, episode 3. I promise the next episode will not be drafting or something of that nature. I'll try to make a good, funny one again. I know the first one was absolutely hilarious. Everyone's still just dying laughing. And I'm going to just get this tweet sent as I thought I could do it in 30 seconds. And I am going to get things right underway. And as I said from the very first showing, that I was hoping to show one funny ad or whatever every time. Hold on one second. I got to pull this up here. And no, I can't because I'm not going to use the wrong screen this time. So let me do this first off. I'm going to pull up one funny gambling ad that I found. And I am going to, yep, there's a good setting. So here we go. I found the one, almost the exact one I found before. Now, this is the same exact everything of the one I was talking about on the stream that I couldn't find, except instead of Jokic, it's KSI, who I don't know who that is. So I was just, again, going through Instagram. This just came up like directly on my feed, like this ad from like a meme account or something. But American spends over 110,000 at the club in front of his ex to beat SKI. So basically saying some guy not in the picture with just all the, like, this person's like, this isn't even a fight card. This is the fight. And then like, I don't even know. But if you read down below, when asked for a statement, the man mentioned that he was tired of everyone thinking only influencers make money and claimed he won 110,000 he spent was money. Wait, hold on. That the 110 he spent was money he made last month with JacobPicks.us. I mean, this is just perfect. I absolutely love this, everything about it. And I think there's so many things I love about this ad. Again, like, I mean, I'm pointing out a bunch of them, but this is the rapper, like, with the girl. It's like, I did this in front of my ex to make him jealous. Like, it's just so perfect. I mean, go to JacobPicks.us right now. You won $110,000 in a month. I mean, just, it's free. I absolutely love these. So if you see anything like this, please send it my way. I have one more in the holster, ready to go. So this is what I'm going to try to show one of these every single time to get started while people are kind of joining, while we're kind of getting things going. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Of course, I'll get back to wearing jerseys once in a while. Last time I was kind of like, I threw one on and actually it was this one. And the tags were annoying me, but I don't want to take the tags off because I'm a loser. But here we are, this Shea Theodore jersey here. I'll show off a couple of jerseys too to show I'm still a gambling virgin, of course. Let me lower this a little bit. I feel like it looks like I'm not recording a new rap album like SKI. I think he's a rapper. I really don't know who he is. If anyone knows who SKI is, you can comment. But yeah, let's get into it. I'm going to start. I had someone kind of mention to me, actually, I was a friend. He said he'd be watching this later. I'm not sure if he's here live. But a friend was saying, like, what rules do you have for how many players per team you're drafting? And I really do think it's kind of specific to the team in general. And more so, I don't think you should ever go into a draft with too many incredibly hard rules. That might be the best way to really put it. hold on. I'll pause there for a second to just say I had 5 advancing of my 14 for after week 1, and I think it went down to 3. But let me just look if things have finalized. For the best Puck Classic, it is 3 all in first and then 2 in third. So I feel pretty confident right now in getting around 2 or 3, hopefully into the next round of the best Puck Classic. But we'll move on to the Zamboni. I will, yeah, I'll send a tweet tomorrow, GA, once everything's fully finalized for my week 1. But let's get into the Zamboni. So first and foremost, we're going to go team by team pretty briefly to go over kind of the strategy around them. Just a little bit, not a ton. And this is definitely subject to change as ADPs shift. They're going to shift. Don't be surprised at all if a guy you're getting now very late moves way up, i.e. Jake Gensel, who we're going to get to. But very briefly on the Boston Bruins, I'm just going to go in order from, these 3 teams here, 100% making the playoffs. I don't think there's almost not even a statistic chance that any of these, Boston, Florida, or Toronto, could miss at this point. So let's just start with Boston. I mean, this is a team you do not need to go crazy on. Like, if you're drafting Boston, you're thinking, okay, I am going to load up on the Bruins. The biggest problem with them is goaltending. We really don't know if it's Swayman or Ullmark. I'm pretty committed to Swayman at this point. I think I'm going to fade Ullmark entirely. But honestly, I really am hoping, if I'm drafting Boston as another team, that I'm not taking either goalie if possible. Like, I'd rather have at least 1 or 2 on another team, because I think they split pretty regularly. Like, I actually could see them going like, they're up 2-1 in the series and just giving a game to the other guy. Like, they could be broken after what happened last year and not maybe getting Ullmark out of there fast enough. And it's insane to think a goalie on the best team of all time, a goalie that won the Vezina, did nothing wrong. I mean, how has Ullmark been this year? I'll pull this up while I make sure I don't have too many tabs going, because I think I'm slowing myself down a little bit. Let's just look at the stats on Ullmark quickly. I don't want to slow my internet down too much, but you mean 913 save percentage, 266 goals against, 18-7 record, won the Vezina last year, and we're sitting here like, probably not the starter game 1. I mean, it's probably Swayman. Crazy to think. But again, if you're drafting Boston, it's because you took David Pastrnak. I've seen people try it without him. There's just no freaking way. I mean, if this team is going, you know what, actually, I kind of like the stats idea. Whatever, if my internet sucks. If you're drafting the Boston Bruins, for some reason, that's weird to say, this guy has 35 more points than the next, David Pastrnak. There's just really no way this team's winning the cup and winning this tournament, and Pastrnak is not on that team. He'd have to get injured. And again, if that happens, I just don't think there's much of a chance they win it. So if you missed out on Pastrnak, he's not on your team, I really don't know why you're drafting the Bruins. I have been taking Coyle over a guy like Zacha, and really it's just been centered around McAvoy, Marchand, Pastrnak, and maybe a goalie, like I said. I could see a scenario where Jake DeBrusk has been on the rise. There's a few guys in here that, they're okay. Zacha is, again, a little bit interesting because it's hard to find a center. But again, I'm just sticking with Coyle. The numbers kind of speak for themselves. They continue to trust him on the first power play. But again, I am not drafting more than normally 3 Bruins and, like I said, maybe a goalie. And that's fine. Like, they could win the cup and you could win this tournament with them. The other side's going to have a lot to do with that, regardless. So I think if you're drafting 5 or 6 of these guys, you're just not making it. You have to make it to the finals. So again, I'm getting heavier on the Bruins, having 2 or 3 of those guys, just because this is the best team in the entire East, in the entire league right now. I know games in hand, yada, yada, but there's just no sense in not thinking this team could be a force. And then a question here, ever draft both goalies? I'm not going to do it. This is the only team I could even give it a thought. I'm not going to do it. I think it's the only team you could actually have that conversation with, but you're basically hoping that one of them steals the net entirely and that goalie is almost 0% because the other one started or something. Like, it feels like that is such a needle to thread where, yeah, I haven't. I have not done it. I probably won't in 150, but there's a 1 in 150 team. I could see it. I'm going to move a little faster now. Florida Panthers. Yeah, this team is really, 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 really good. They're a team that I do think you could reasonably overstack. The frustrating part about this Panthers team is the Chuck and Reinhardt feel like the absolute focal points. Getting them both is a bit of a burden, and people are so enamored by this team right now that it's often people are taking one or the other. Now, I understand, and I mean, again, you're talking to one of the biggest Reinhardt fans in the world. I think the absolute world of this guy. I've absolutely seen this coming. That this kind of explosion season and that power play role was going to get there. But Matt the Truck is the engine here, so I don't ever take Reinhardt without the Chuck. Like I'm trying to get both of them in a few, try to build up those super Florida teams. Everyone else is pretty much free besides Montour. Um, yeah, I mean I'm in on it. I think Barkov's super easy. Tarasenko's there now, undrafted. Verhaeghe's incredibly easy to get. This guy has 30 goals and was a huge part of teams that were successful last year. So yeah, I mean, this Florida team is super easy. Montour's come on super strong as of late, but again, had a terrible start. But really coming on, after and of course started not at all because he was injured, but once he came back was still very, very slow. Guys like Forsling are going. I see it. I do expect Ekblad to return. So yeah, I'm not getting crazy here. There's four guys and a defenseman. And then just obviously Bobrovsky. It's not even questionable. And Stolarz has been good. I mean, look at that save percentage, but yeah, we're not doing that here. So yeah, I mean, I think you could any mixture of that four. Taking all five of them is maybe a step too far, but I think you could do it. Like again, I think four Panthers plus a goalie is totally justified. There's you got three Bruins, four Panthers. That's kind of how I'm looking at this. The Leafs, I don't think there's a cap. This team is just incredibly, incredibly condensed. What the is there site this stupid? Where the heck is am I blind? Team. Okay, I guess that's how you do it. No, click on that. We're just gonna pull up just how condensed the point structure is for them. It's these three players here and Tavares, who's really fallen off, and Morgan Riley as well. But I mean, it's like this is half the production below. I get Bertuzzi, I really do, but you're drafting all five of these guys without too much of a struggle at this point, and I'm in on that. Like, I mean, if you take Matthews, Nylander, Marner, that's probably enough too. You don't need to go crazy, but Morgan Riley is basically free. At that point, I don't see a reason why not. I have no problem with taking all five of these guys. I'm not going to add the Bertuzzi to the mix. I think you're just kind of you need to start building up something else on the other side, whether that's a little bit of an Eastern Conference matchup or a full West. But you can go all the way. Five guys. Goaltending is tough. I mean, Samsonov's been egregiously bad, and Wool has been good until he came back. Maybe rushed back from this injury, getting back into shape. It's tough. I'm again not trying to take him if I can avoid it. I've only taken Samsonov at this point. I'm hoping he continues to just be better, and he has been. As we kind of see, at 4 straight wins. This was a tough loss against Carolina with 40 saves, but overall, he's been on a really, really good run. And I think that they're probably going to give him the nod over would be a first year, first starter in the playoffs. Wool coming back from an injury. I'm sticking with it at this point until proven otherwise. So yeah, I will. I have taken Samsonov, but again, I'm trying not to if possible. I'd rather, if I'm loading up on that big Toronto stack, just building a full Western Conference build against it with both goalies, again, if possible, and then defaulting back to Samsonov for that second goalie if needed. But again, I mean, you're taking Toronto, you're taking Matthews. The guy has like 70 goals. You know what I mean? The Rangers, I think the Rangers are probably one of the more interesting teams. Just because it feels like stacking them successfully has been very difficult. And I think it's just because of the popularity around the team. This team is a lot of fans and people just want a piece. And if you're starting to build this Rangers team out, you are just it's the most frustrating team to draft. But it's okay. Because as long as you get Panarin, by the way, is this like way too small? Let me just make this bigger. There we go. Let's make this bigger. As long as you get Panarin, I think you're fine. Like, if you don't get Panarin, don't do it to yourself. Just don't do it to yourself. There's no need to do it to yourself. No one's going to make you take the Rangers. Everyone else will take them for you. And the best part is you'll watch like 3 guys take like 1 Ranger, and build 8 teams and have completely dead rosters. If Panarin gets to you and it feels like the right spot, you grab Panarin, just go off of any of these guys around him. I don't think it really matters that much. The power play is so important. Panarin plays so many minutes, and he's going to continue to be the driver of offense. And you're going to see Panarin assist on goals from every one of these guys. Kreider on the power play, of course, obviously. Trocheck, the 5-on-5, the best correlation you're going to get. And he's just been better all year long than Zibanejad. And then Fox, just useful, not a ton of value as far as, your best puck scoring is really concerned with all the other rates, but he's so freaking good. I mean, he's almost a point per game defenseman. There's no need to overthink it. I definitely think Lafreniere is fine, as a last pick in with a Ranger stack. Like, if you did miss out on Kreider, Zibanejad, you have Panarin, Trocheck, Fox. You want to, I mean, I think that's very fringe okay. But if that, if you're doing that, it's probably because you also took Shesterkin, and there's really no doubt. And Quick's been awesome. Been very, very good, like good enough to be, you could actually think like, man, could he steal a game if they get down 3-0? But if they get down 3-0, they're probably not coming back. They're probably losing anyway. So you're just not drafting Quick. You're taking Shesterkin. He's on a god run, and he's by far and away the better goalie. But every Rangers fan should thank Jonathan Quick for the 15-5 record he has on the year, because he's been sensational for them. Carolina is the biggest shakeup for best puck probably considerations after the deadline, just because things have gone into a bit of a blender as far as the lines are concerned. But as of right now, this is the top line. The top 3 guys for points, and albeit Jarvis has played, a bit more games than guys like Nachos, and maybe Nachos can catch him and whatever. Teravainen missed this game that we actually got to see Aho, Gensel, and Jarvis together. But I think that's going to end up becoming top line, top power play for them. It feels like that line is just cooking. So Seth Jarvis should move up boards. I think he's very undervalued at this point, but it really depends on, again, like it's 1 center, 1 winger, 1 D. You could draft Aho, Gensel, and Jarvis. I do think Aho is a guy that goes sometimes, and people just never go back to Carolina, but there is much to pick from. Svechnikov, Nachos. You have to give it up to Teravainen, and he's like undrafted right now. Kind of feels like a scroll the F down type of guy you could take and not feel disgusting about. Just if Carolina wins the cup and everyone has Aho, Gensel, Svechnikov, and Burns, you could be the only guy with Teravainen. And, what if he's the guy? I think that's fine as well. But after that, there is just nobody else. And Brady Shea's been good. I'm not really going to do it myself. Like, feels a bit thin. I'm not even all that in love with Brent Burns, but it's fine. I think Brent Burns is a good example of a guy that you wait on, because he's just going a bit too high for my liking. And if he goes, you move on and say, whatever, I don't really need that defenseman. And if he doesn't, okay, well, I'll take him with, way after ADP with the stack and hope that in the playoffs he's useful. The rates are good. But Carolina, I guess probably to sum it up, I think they're like a 4-player max team still regardless. Like, none of these guys are actually to the elite level that I think you need. But I wonder if Gensel could actually be that good. And we're going to find out, and we're kind of finding out now. So I do think, while I'm saying like all of these guys right here are draftable, I'm definitely not taking all 6. Like, I'm very much trying to make sure I'm only taking 3. And I think they're a perfect team to just wait on. And if someone wants to take one of the pieces, don't get mad. Just say, whatever, I'll take another guy. There's 6 guys to take, and they're mainly, as we see from the points, and I truly believe much of the production can move in that capacity. Like, I think you're okay to kind of move it around. So I'm not worried. I think 3, maybe 4 tops. This team doesn't want to win by outscoring opponents. They want to win by getting up and sitting on a lead. As far as goalies are concerned, I have completely stuck to Korchekov at this point. And Freddie Anderson is back, and Freddie Anderson was good in limited run. He was 8-1 before the blood clot issue. Maybe he comes back and takes the net back. Maybe. But Korchekov has been world beating for them. He's been incredibly good as of late. I've got a couple bad games in here, sure, but whatever. The guy's been good. I am just sticking with Korchekov. I'm definitely not taking both of them. I do think one will take the net and run. And if you want to take neither, that's fine. And that's kind of been a common thread in the Eastern Conference, is none of the goalies feel incredibly good. Like, Florida feels incredibly good. Rangers feel incredibly good. And then it kind of, everything else feels a little bit worse. So I'm finding myself pretty often drafting 2 from the West, comparatively to having 2 from the East. But whatever. Flyers are pretty fringe at the. I really do think at this point they're still a little bit undraftable. Not entirely because the lead is getting it is close. If you want to take a stab on 1 or 2 Flyers right now and just say that you got them before or whatever, but even if they clinch, they're not going to be that popular, and they're going to be free. I just don't think you need to do it to yourself. And really, the upside on this team isn't incredibly high. And I've been a fan of Konechny and Tippett, and the 2 of my highest 4, I think, or 5 drafted players in best book. I think the world of them, and I absolutely will if they clinch the playoff spot, take a stab. But this is not an elite upside team. I mean, they're a negative goal differential for a reason. Look at these goal differentials right here. It's just like, oh, which one doesn't belong, including the wild card. I feel bad, but yeah, I'm just not going to be committing to this Flyers team. And maybe they do give someone trouble in the playoffs, but even if, I don't think there's, more than those 2 I named plus, I don't know, like which goalie. I mean, I guess Arison. No. So there's 2 guys on that team. I'm not going to get into it. Tampa Bay, I'm not even going to click on them either. I mean, Vasilevsky is obvious and apparent, and then Point, Stamkos, Kucherov. I don't really even think there's any sense in taking anyone else. Oh, Victor Hedman, of course. Sorry, Victor Hedman. But there's not even just don't do it. There's no need to take Brandon Hagel. He's the only other guy, and I really don't think it's necessary. Like, you can get Point, Kucherov, Stamkos, and Hedman, that foursome, you're done. I mean, again, scroll the F down if you want once in a while. Maybe you miss out on Stamkos or Point. You know what? If you miss again, you maybe take a look at Hagel. That's the only. I'm not going to do it though. Just take the guys that are obvious. If this team is winning the cup, it is completely on the back of Nikita Kucherov, and they're going to be putting Stamkos in Point with him all the time, just because they have to. There's no depth. And then I'm not really. This is still an absolute mess. None of these teams are draftable right now in the East. Obviously, the Sabres are dead. The Devils are dead. Pittsburgh is on the lifest of life supports. I think it's the Islanders. I really do, but I'm not going to waste anyone's time by talking about that. They're going to be free. Sure. We'll look at the Barzal, Nelson, Sorokin, obvious nonsense. 22 minutes in, so gone way longer than I wanted to at this point, but who thought otherwise? Vancouver is again, so let's just we're gonna speed run. We're definitely gonna speed run these West teams as much as possible. But JT Miller, Pedersen, Hughes, Besser, that's it. Maybe once in a while, grab a Lindholm. Hronek is a little bit interesting, honestly. He's been good enough, and the rates are good enough to maybe you take at least a small look at it, but I'm probably not going to do it. It's a 4-headed monster here, and you could draft all 4. And obviously, Demko, he should be back. I'm really not that concerned about it, and he's just going to be the guy they run into the ground for sure. He should get every single start in the playoffs. I'm fine with 3 of this foursome too. Totally fine with it. Like, I don't think you need to abandon ship immediately. If, like, let's say, for example, I had a draft the other day where I took Miller and Pedersen. The only reason I jumped ship is because I lost Demko. If you lose Demko, just stop. Vancouver is dead. You're moving on. You're fine though. I mean, maybe take another look if you want to take another Western Conference team. Like, for example, you already missed out on the Oilers, I assume, at that point, so you're not taking them together. And oh wow, I actually skipped the Central, went to Pacific. That's fine. But again, maybe you took some Colorado early, or maybe you had no Western Conference at all. Just go to the Stars, go to maybe Nashville if you need to, or just build up the Eastern Conference and hope that that's what you needed to get there against the Vancouver. But if you missed out on Demko, I'd jump ship. Oilers, there's no sense on this team. If you're taking the Oilers, you're probably getting one of McDavid or Draisaitl, Bouchard, Hyman, and then Skinner is, in my opinion, the absolute obvious answer here. But he's been bad enough that I think there is at least a little concern for what if he's bad and Picard takes over. But I think if Skinner is bad, and I mean, Picard's been good, as we can see here. If Skinner's bad and Picard takes over, I think the Oilers are probably cooked anyways. So I'm not worried about it. I'm not taking any. Oh, and Nugent Hopkins. I'm still considering grabbing, especially now that he's been playing with McDavid at 5-on-5. I think they like that pairing a good bit with Hyman. So you're not getting all 5 of these guys regardless. I'm not even going down the board for anyone else. I took one Ekholm I did do that, which was probably just stupid, but I needed defensemen so freaking bad, and I had very weird stacks. But you're taking one of McDavid or Draisaitl, which again I think is definitely McDavid for me. I'm barely going to be I probably end up having a very low amount of Draisaitl, Hyman or Bouchard, and then Skinner. I don't think you're taking Picard, but I think people will eventually. So do with that what you wish. The Kings, yeah, it's the biggest question mark is in net. This team is also just kind of really hard to stack and feel any amount of anything for. Like, I think with them, they're so unique already that if you just take Kempe Fiala and Byfield or Kopitar, I think the two, maybe three, and Talbot is all you really need to do. Like, they're going basically undrafted. I do think they're a good pivot. I'm actually kind of almost hoping to have a pivot to them tonight. I have taken one Fiala. I think that's it. Maybe one Kempe and one Fiala as like I had like super stack Toronto with another team, like I don't know, whatever, it doesn't matter. But they're not bad. They're just not that much fun, and they don't want to be fun. If they wanted to be fun, they'd play Clark and Spence, but they don't. So I think you're totally fine just taking two and a goalie on LA, or just two on LA, and maybe three. Yeah, they're just not their team that all of the offense should be coming through like two or three guys if they actually hit their peak. And playing the Oilers in round one is a tough draw. Let's quickly Winnipeg. Winnipeg is actually an interesting one to talk about for a number of reasons. Number one is I think they're actually really freaking good. Number two, they're basically free outside of Kyle Connor. Now, of course, Kyle Connor is played a lot less games than everyone else, to a good enough degree. But Shifley, Josh Morrissey, 100%. Connor, I'm leaning to Foley now over Ehlers. I took in an Ehlers team, but I think I'm definitely at this point just leaning to Foley. The upside seems higher, but it's those guys for me, and I'm not really going to take any Monahan. Gabe Velarde should be back very soon. I don't think the ceiling's quite high enough on him. So while I think he'll come back in over Iafallo and maybe get some run on the top power play again, maybe not though. That's enough for me to just say no, thank you. And then it's just it's Hellebuck or die. Like if you take Connor Hellebuck and then just grab Shifley, Morrissey, and the goalie, and either or 3 or 4 man sack with a goalie, but don't go overboard on them. Just there's no need. This team is not the highest upside in the world, so 3 is probably totally fine with them. Colorado, as many as you can grab. In reality, I don't think you're doing anything wrong. But for me, it's McKinnon or Rantanen. McKinnon is obviously to the moon upside every single night. Rantanen's the best of the situation there. You're not getting both of them. You are now getting McKinnon and Makar, or you could take Rantanen and Makar, which I've done a couple times. I think that's fine. You're building around these guys, and Georgiev, who's not been good at all, and a Noonan. There's at least a concern. I mean, these numbers speak for themselves. He's been good when they've needed him to. I don't know. Let's take a look, actually. I mean, this should just show his games, right? Chicago, Detroit, and the Flames. Not really taking on the best opponents, though, comparatively to Georgiev, who's been a little bit better. So I'm sticking to 100% Georgiev, but I actually think that look at the splits, too. Pretty tough stuff. So let's just really quickly, it's Jertushkin by a mile over everyone else in this range. And then I've taken one, maybe I might grab a second Middlestead, but I'm really not that concerned about this team. Like, you're not getting all 3 of these guys in McKinnon, Rantanen, and Makar. You have to try absolute best to get 2. If you miss out on the goalie, I'm kind of saying that's not the end of the world, but I wouldn't go crazy on them at that point. Again, I think you're kind of already getting to a building differently. But if you can get McKinnon and Makar and Georgiev, or Rantanen, Makar and Georgiev, or whatever, I think that's better than anything else you can kind of do in this scenario. And then you can still grab guys like Lehkonen, who's nearly a point per game, could mix in on the power play a bit, could end up being the guy they end up putting on a wing with McKinnon and Rantanen at some point. They've moved Middlestead there at points. They've obviously loved Nertushkin there. So it'll be a bit of a revolving door, I think, around those two. So one of them, don't go crazy. You don't need 4 of these, don't grab Middlestead. I think you could grab 2, with Nertushkin being a bit above the rest. So don't grab like Middlestead, Drouin, and Lehkonen. Like that, I think you've just completely kneecapped yourself at that point. So I think they're very much a team that I would say grab 4 or 5 of, but you just can't. So grab 3 or 4 tops because you're just, I think, again, you're kneecapping yourself. There's just no need. And then Dallas, let's save Dallas for last. You know what? Yeah, I mean, there's no sense in talking about Nashville. It's incredibly obvious. There's Forsberg, Yossi, and Saros. Just grab them and move on with your life. There's just no, I mean, you can maybe grab one RLR. There's nobody else here. Done. Vegas, Eichel, Marchessault, and I'd grabbed a Hurdle or two. I do think Hurdle is actually good. He's good this year at least, and I think eventually we'll see. But yeah, and still no question. So I'm just going to keep rambling. But Marchessault, Eichel for me, and then now Hurdle, who is pretty decent. I mean, minus 26 for San Jose, which is a little tough. Pretty bad defensively, honestly, but still good offensively. And Theodore. So it's not hard to get that. And I understand if you throw into Mark Stone, but that's it for me. I mean, I'm thinking Eichel, Marchessault, Theodore is more than enough on them, to be honest. I mean, that is all of the upside that you want. I think you just move on with those 3. And then Aiden Hill, of course, I do think will take over the net in the playoffs. They obviously trust him. He won the cup last year. I can't imagine Logan Thompson's going to be a quick to go to kind of guy. But yeah, I think there are 3, absolute maximum 4, but oftentimes just a 3 team. They still have a very tough road. And I know one's full healthy. They have a very good team, but you do not need to get crazy on them. And if without Eichel, I'm not touching them. Just another rule I'm setting for myself. And then finally, let's talk about the freaking Dallas Stars. An unbelievably good team. They're not too hard to stack, but what do you do? Like, there's so many players. Like this mix right here I mean, this is all decently similar in output. And there's 3 different lines of offense. I mean, even Sagan was really good before the injury and is absolutely going to be back for the playoffs. Like, what do you do? Heiskanen and Harley both on the table for me. I mean, this 15 goals for Harley don't happen by accident, and that kind of upside is hard to match from the point. It's not something that I think you're sitting, banging the table on him over Heiskanen, but I've taken both in different Dallas builds. Like this team goes all the way. These guys could be very influential, so I do think that you could take both of them and then mix it around with 2 or 3 others. So I'm often going Robertson, Hintz, both defensemen, Robertson, Johnston, both defensemen, Robertson, Hintz, Johnston, one defenseman. I don't plan on taking any Duchesne. I will have a little bit of Joe Pavelski. I don't think I've mixed him in once yet, but I'm not messing around with these Jamie Benn losers or Tyler Sagans of the world. So again, to make it clear, 3, 1, 2 and 2 forwards, 2D, or 3 and 1 is kind of the cap on them for me. Just don't think I need it, but it kind of all centers around Jason Robertson. I still just think that the upside on this guy is higher than anyone else by a decent margin. We remember what he was last year. If we don't remember what he was last year, I wonder if I could just see it quickly. Let's look. Do they show by year? 109 points last year. Doesn't happen by accident. I think that, again, they've maybe changed his style. Maybe he's committed more to playing defense for whatever reason. I think it's stupid, but you know what? That's what they got to do, and they're a really good team. So who am I to judge? And then I know Ottinger's been incredibly bad. These numbers are concerningly bad. It's still just Ottinger for me. You just remember, I mean, again, I just think at some point you have to understand that these teams are definitely committed to that kind of a thing. And that, I mean, Stankoven, I don't think I'm going to do it, but I will not fault you if you went Wyatt, one defenseman, and Ottinger. Everyone snipped up Dallas around you, and I would take Stankoven over Jamie Benn. I would do that, and I know that's probably stupid, but I think, again, Stankoven's good, but I do think it's not a flash in the pan. Like, this guy absolutely can play, but people were kind of losing their mind. I mean, there were legitimate people, like real people that have, I mean, maybe they do have brains. I guess I don't know for sure anymore. That were like, Stankoven could like win the Calder. He wasn't even going to play enough games to qualify for the Calder. Yeah, it's just like, you can't even find him on here. Stankoven. Like, this guy is that good. But like, what are we like? If you're No, you know what? Maybe I should put my foot down. I think I'll have 0 Logan Stankoven. And it's not because he isn't a good prospect. It's because even if you think you watch him play and he's playing good defense and whatnot, I know 9 points in 11 games, all this stuff. I mean, again, I'll take him over Jamie Benn, but my God in heaven, like this guy's going to get 13 to 15 minutes in the playoffs. He is not going to be rolling out there on the top power play. He is not going to be rolling out there to kill any game when they get up. And you're just going to sit there and pray on. Again, think about how stupid NHL teams are before you draft him. Billy, what's going on? Thanks for jumping in. You've been doing some great streams, definitely. If you're not following Billy Jones, put your handle in here and your YouTube channel. I know I gave that a follow, but yeah, throw that in there. I'll throw it up on the board. Definitely want to give him a follow. He's doing a ton of baseball stuff right now. And I almost did a draft. I actually loaded one and I looked at the players and I recognized 4 of the top 20 players. I'm just totally gone on baseball. That's everyone though. So let's get into the playoffs. Let's get into a couple drafts. Let's just do it. Gone through every team. I went through a little bit on every team, and yeah, Stankoven is your live a little guy though. It is funny. That is a good analogy. We're waiting on 2. Let's jump in. These are still not right. I don't think I fixed this. Let me see if I can. Okay, we're filled. Sweet. Let me see if I could fix this quick. Is it this one? It's active. Cool. There's just no way this is right. Oh, the 101. What? It's the streamer 101. I have only gotten the 101 on stream. I don't think I've gotten it another time. I'm gonna go with a Nate Dog this time. Last time I went McDavid, so I'm gonna go Nate Dog here. Why play the best plays when you can have Stank? Yeah, I mean I think that's really the argument here, is that Dallas isn't expensive as far as draft capital is concerned, at all. So what is the point in betting on a guy? Where even is he? Am I blind? Has no one? Okay. Either I'm blind. Nope, he is there. Okay, he hasn't been drafted yet. All right, before I draft Logan 101, remember, wait, I was live when someone drafted him 3rd overall. This is my first Nathan MacKinnon team, by the way. I like McDavid more just because and the thing really is that, yeah, that's kind of you do have to search for his name. Weird, but I think I like McDavid more because I believe that I'm going to find a way to thread some needle that isn't going to happen again. Draisaitl's creeped up the boards a bit. He was below Pasternak, and kind of right around the 7 to 8 range. And I actually saw one guy who took McDavid. I think he got him 3rd, get a Draisaitl McDavid team. And I don't know. I believed that Draisaitl would fall a bit. He has not been great this year. The point totals speak for themselves. So I was kind of hoping that, I don't know, that he would fall in a draft and I could get both of them. But in reality, I feel like you need McDavid to fall, and it's not going to happen. But on the other hand, Cale Makar's fallen a bit and Rantanen's fallen a bit just because it doesn't feel nearly as good to draft McKinnon or a Colorado team without McKinnon, which I totally understand. So we'll see what I can do here. I'm guessing GA is going to ruin this dream, but we'll see. Matthews slip in this far. Yeah. So good start. Good start all around. No real qualms. I mean, I'm very much Matthews over Draisaitl personally, but everything else is kind of up for debate. It definitely is. Yeah. Well, never mind. Makar's not coming to either of the Rantanen or McKinnon drafters. So we're going to find out if I'm building a McKinnon team right here, right now. Could be dead on arrival. We're gonna see in 4 picks, but there goes Georgiev. So yeah, I mean, this is just a great example. I had 2 streamed drafts last time that went very smooth, and this one's not. You drafted McKinnon 101. You thought maybe you could build around him, but you couldn't. And I don't think there's any problem just jumping ship entirely. Keep up your standings. Say, okay, they're probably playing Dallas or Winnipeg in round 1, so those teams are kind of X'd out for me to have a real chance. The only other team would be, yeah, I mean, but yeah, they're just so far back, it's not going to happen. So I'm Xing out those other two teams who could play them in round one, but probably more than likely play them in round two. Still considering Nurtushkin, just build that 2-man and then go the other way with it. But the Chuck Reinhardt pairing did happen. I do think that's going to be decently common. I've been really unlucky with this. Every time I take the Chuck, I just get absolutely screwed one pick before me by the 9 drafter. So Pasternak goes. Yeah, you know what? I might actually try the Rangers thing. Just haven't done, I don't think, a single one yet, and this might be the time. I'm going to take Val and just build that too, and then move on from Colorado. Reason being is I still think there's enough upside in McKinnon and Yertushkin that they could be a part of the Western Conference Finals. So 2 guys on them, on Colorado, one of them being the clear catalyst in McKinnon plus Yertushkin, who I really do think is that good, would be enough to then take a look at another side, which I'm basically crossing out the Oilers at this point. And I'm looking at like a Vancouver, the Kings, more than it's still way too early to know if Nashville, who I really do think is pretty good, will be in the Pacific or the West or the Central for the seeding, because the number 1 team will play the last team, which at this point is kind of likely to be Vegas. And with all these guys on LTIR, it's there's a reason to think they could finish dead last. But you can go with either of them at this point. So I could also go back to Vegas and just say, well, there's no way to know who's going to finish first in this conference. It is a 4-man race, all within just completely right next to each other. By points percentage, it's Winnipeg. Crazy to think, but it is. So yeah, I'm not too nervous. Let's see where we're at in the board. Okay, Miller goes. So that could hurt me on looking at Vancouver. So, yep, this is nice. The Chuck Reinhardt, Bobrovsky. I mean, again, you kind of have to do it. Didn't take Barkov. Interesting, but not absurd. We're down to the last guy here, who Boston, McDavid. I mean, probably start, if you're in here, probably want to start getting a little bit correlated at this point. Like, you're not completely in need yet if you're trying to build something kind of bizarre. Kucherov, okay, getting a little crazy. I'm obviously grabbing Igor. Just again, I really kind of want to try to build a Rangers team here, and Igor is unequivocally has to be on it. And I'm not going to wait around. I'm just going to take Trocheck now. So a nice is 2-spot auto. I honestly, I was not here when it. Did he draft? No, I mean, because ADP 22. Unless if they set up their own rankings. I feel like this guy's been in these streams and like is watching before. I mean, I don't think this build is even wrong at this point, because if you just go Vancouver and then Boston, Tampa, because Tampa is, I think, more than likely, and the Rangers could end up getting the bottom team. Again, it's totally up for debate. So you could say Boston, Tampa, and just say Tampa doesn't, they're not going to probably catch Toronto, and they end up going down and playing the Rangers. You know what I mean? So just kind of having that mindset. I don't think that team is already incorrect. Okay, so a nice Carolina, Colorado team. I do think those teams are kind of a bit becoming tethered together, in my opinion. A lot of my teams that are Colorado, I end up on Carolina, just the way DP is working. So this draft wouldn't have worked out for it, but I think next time I draft Colorado, I did it once where I just went to Tampa. I loaded up on as much as I could, and it just jumped down the board. Again, if you're wondering why my players are being highlighted, is because I'm using the Brick Draft Caddy, which again is not showing the correct ADPs. I'm going to fix that. I thought I did it, but I guess I didn't. So yeah, I'm going to grab Kreider here. I think he is, I don't need a center is really one of the bigger reasons. And I'm going to grab Fox and just say, okay, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 Rangers now, and the goalie. I'm done with the Rangers. Sorry, Zibanejad, but someone else can have you, or maybe with the last pick, but the only way I take him at this point. And then a couple on Colorado feels pretty good. So on the other side of things, again, the teams I was kind of looking at, oh my God, I'm stuck. Okay. It's LA or it's the Predators are probably the teams I'm looking at. As far as the Eastern Conference, Tampa's already gone. So Toronto's, I mean, it's pretty dust at this point for me to take anything here because I'm not getting any good Leafs. I'm not getting any good Panthers. Pasternak's gone. There's just no sense in building around the Bruins. Carolina goes, but again, they are going to be a round two matchup for the Rangers. So yeah, I mean, it's tough, but I think I'm just going to let's take a look back at the board. I mean, Vegas could have been interesting, but I already noticed they were pretty thin. Kale McCarr didn't really need to take him. Ruined me for no reason. I'm just kidding. I just would have got Georgiev instead. Let's get back to my team really quick. So, I mean, yeah, man, it just could end up being a Nashville team. Demko's gone. Ottinger's still here. I mean, Dallas doesn't really make sense though, because they just, yeah, I don't like that. I don't like doing it. I feel like it's probably not even entirely wrong to take a team like Dallas right here and say that you get through 2 rounds. But I just think like you're just limiting yourself too much. All the teams that made it to the finals basically had at least 3 teams going. So I'm not going to be doing that myself. I think this is just where you say screw it and scroll the F down. There's no sense in trying to win this game of oh my god, someone took Yossi. Well, screw him, I guess. I don't really have a choice. That really sucks. I don't really know what else I would have done. Every team is well, it is what it is. I guess we're going Super Rangers. I'm gonna just queue up Zibanejad. Um, damn, I really got screwed in this one. I don't even know what I could have done. I mean, I guess LA. I guess I still could do LA. Just take LA around this. They're not playing Nashville round one. They're not playing Colorado to the. I think I just do that. I mean, yeah, this one got real messy. I guess make sure when you have a backup plan, you you think about the other. Yeah, have 2 backup plans. I didn't think in 100,000 years anyone was going to be taking Yossi that early, and I didn't save myself much time as I was talking. So yeah, sorry, GA. I guess I screwed myself and you here, but the hope in this draft that I just did is that Nashville is paired up with like a Vancouver in round one and they beat them. That would kind of hurt me for LA. Yeah. I don't really have a good option. Really, I mean, I'm even more screwed now than I was a minute ago. Well, we're almost up. I guess we're just going all the way on the Rangers because what's the point in not? Absolutely need defensemen, so I guess I'll just take Taves. And then I'm just going to think about I'm just going to punt off a final decision because Taves is good enough. The rates are good. The power play role is not great, but everything else is fine. Like he's good enough, I think, in this build to just say 3 Colorado, a bunch of Rangers. I mean, basically, I'm just building a worse version of Colorado Rangers than I would have liked. But it's hard to build that and feel good about it. It's really hard to get both goalies in that scenario. Yeah, this draft again, like sometimes you're just going to get in the draft and it's not going to go as planned, and have a second backup plan. We learned tonight. Truba is interesting too. Out at least 2 weeks was the 9 days ago thing from Vince. I can't imagine there's too many. There's just no way he's not going to be back for the playoffs. The upside is tough. The points aren't great. The power play role is largely gone. But the rates are good enough to where if he does score you a goal in a week and have 2 assists, make 3 points, like he could score. But I'm not drafting any more Rangers. This is more than I wanted, but at least I got all of them. You know, I got the whole power play one. Whatever. 5 is too many. It's very much not necessary to do something like that. Yeah, this kind of sucks. I don't even know. I mean, I almost feel like I just have to draft shit Colorado and hope that someone random gets me there. I think I've just gone too far. Oh, if I could, I keep. Oh my god! I clicked the calculator button. I have this. I have this down here, and I'm trying to like just move it up. Who's left? Yikes! I mean, how bad is your end? Very. Okay, cool. All right, screw them. Colorado got nuked. See ya. Well, I have one more pick. I'm leaning defenseman. These defensemen suck. I just needed Yossi. I really needed Yossi. Yeah, that is a real tough noodle. Yossi makes this team feel very good. That he just goes to the other side and gets to the conference finals. And yeah, GA. I've been taking one off Yossi. I mean, yeah, you have been. You just did. I don't like it. It's not good behavior. I don't really know what to take here. I mean, Josh Manson, LOL. How bad has he been? That's weird. I don't even know what to do here. I mean, I feel like Fox and Taves is just you're dead on arrival. Who's this guy gonna take? Probably honestly gonna take Hedman. Maybe not though. I think I just grab Hedman and move on with my night. If he doesn't, just say that at least I gave myself a score at defense rather than this. This is Fox. Fox Taves is very tough. But again, I mean, how many there's honestly, I mean, how many defensemen in the playoffs are that unbelievable? Am I ever going to see who we took? Saka. I'll just take Edmund. I don't even care. This draft is bad. I don't like that at all. That did not go. The last couple were so good. Is this fixed yet? Who cares? I guess not. So yeah, I mean, it's again, I all the way in on the Rangers here. So, even if 1-1-1-1, and then I obviously have options for utility. Like even if it's just the Rangers in the Cup final, at least I have a team. And I gave myself a very good out on Colorado. This team just doesn't have a lot of upside. I think Forsberg and Yossi would have given this a lot more leg to stand on in Saros, just because their upside would it was raise the floor. Well, no, I mean ceiling. McKinnon helps. This is a weird team. This is a really weird team. The floor feels fine. The ceiling is just not there, and like you're trying to win 10K. So yeah, I think I needed a guy like Yossi to raise the ceiling to a point that it actually felt useful. But it didn't happen. So let's roll it back. Let's try it again. I think that's the curse of the 101 is that if you take McKinnon, you're now building a McKinnon team. And those McKinnon teams feel like they have that ceiling, but it's tough. They really, I don't know. It's hard. It's really freaking hard. The Blues scored a whole bunch of goals. Thomas, you're telling me Kyrie didn't have a single point tonight? That's what you're going to tell me right now. Okay. Well, betting card was okay at best. Waiting on 2. Any questions while we wait? Please ask. While I look at other things that don't matter. Any text from Matt? No. Yep. Kyrie was a fuck. I can't believe that. He needed just to have a point. Just a point. All I needed. What a loser. Okay. Oh, we're live. All right. Yeah, I wanted to go back to everyone's team. I was really hoping that was fixed, but are you? No, I don't want the 101. Oh my God. This is such a good thing to have happen normally. Why, when I'm streaming? I've never gotten it off stream. Am I running it back with McKinnon? Man, I mean, again, this is the problem. The problem is that if you take McKinnon, now you don't have the Jets or the Stars to go to. I don't want to do this. I just don't want to do it. I don't want to. I'm going to. I think I'm just going to do it for now. I'm going to do it one more time. This is my second McKinnon team. I'm almost positive. I'm gonna draft him, and then I'm gonna look. I think it's my second McKinnon team. Oh, wait, how much middle side did I have? 3? Okay, yeah, I'm done drafting him. I think I got a little carried away. Okay, well, McKinnon's not showing up because it didn't. Oh, okay. No, I have 9. Now we have 13. Okay. So that was my first. This is my second. Yeah, that's. I don't want no McKinnon. I just want more McDavid, which I only have 1. Jesus Christ. I have not been drafting early. Like, look at these teams. Like Matthews 3 times. I'm getting a lot of Matthews, and then I'm getting a ton of Rand. I've been drafting and Pasta. Like, I've been drafting last every time. I draft 6 every time. I swear. This is my 14th, and I've drafted 6th probably 10 times. Not 10 times. I probably drafted. I think 8. I think 8's honestly the right number. Where I drafted 6th. Like, I draft last every. I honestly kind of like it. I really do think that there's a little bit of a, not a big aid, but I bet the teams that draft first and last get an incredibly small edge, almost indistinguishable, but just enough. I'm gonna actually go fuck myself. Okay, no, that's whatever. What were you gonna do? But no, I think it just because you get that opportunity every time to take, like, no one in between you can fuck you. Like, you have 2 picks in a row to pick 2 players together, and if they could fuck you beforehand, but if they did that, then you already knew it. Like, you don't know it. So, like, sometimes, like, if I picked, like, like, look at the 8th pick and then the 17th pick, there's so much room here for someone to fuck you over. And you can't know it until, like, you've already made this selection. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. But then there's only 2. It's I don't know. But then again, I have a bazillion picks in between me. I wonder about that, though. I'm not sure if anyone's ever looked into it. I might just be completely making something up. I'm really trying to, like, think it through on the fly. I'm not sure if I've ever, like, expressed that thought before. But yeah, it's interesting. Let's see what Hundley does here with McDavid. Go with Panarin. So I'll take Bouchard. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just gonna do these 2 this time. Try a bit of a different build, but a similar one. Not gonna be Rangers, of course. And we're gonna go Val, and we're gonna go with the goalie, and we're gonna just build that out. Oh, okay. Wait, so that Hundley is okay. So Hundley's building kind of what I started with, only with McDavid instead of McKinnon. That's interesting. Yeah. So wait, hold on. Let's start from the beginning really quick. Well, look, if you draft 4th, the GA spot, then 9th. I think that's the worst. Just because there's so, like, every pick, you're leaving it wide open for a bunch of just. I mean, these drafts are better, and I kind of appreciate having the window of drafting on stream and then drafting not on stream. And I know that's, I'm a fraud for that. Like, Pete had to deal with every single one on stream, which just kind of raised the bar. But the reason I like it is because I'll be in a window. I showed some to Matt where it was like 3 drafts in a row I did where at least 2 teams drafted at least 6, or no, I think it was 7, 7, 8, and then 7 different NHL teams on their roster of 12. Just complete dead, which is annoying because you'll lose some of your stack. But if you're a smart drafter, you're going to win in the long run. And they just drafted something that can't win the whole tournament. So I like drafting a bit separately, trying to mix in a bit of each, because these are much more, you can clearly see the threads people are doing. Very obvious, I mean, Florida's nuked now, but you got a good piece. Like, everyone's kind of makes sense in our drafts, and we can draft. And again, it's not cheating to be like everyone's drafting the best team they can build. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of funny where it almost feels like it's like, oh, they're cheating, but we're not. We're just saying, okay, all of us are just going to continue to draft the best we can, and we'll see how it works out. You know what I mean? So but they're different for sure. But you get another window, like I said. I mean, I think it was 7 different NHL teams, 7 and 1, and then the next was 8 and 7. Where, like, again, I'm saying, like, they drafted one Carolina, one Colorado, one Toronto, one Rangers, like one, I think you get the point. And I'm just sitting there like, how is this possible? Very different, unique. I'm building something totally different now than I was in the other window. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I was hoping to actually maybe go the Eichel route. I was maybe going to go the Vancouver route. They both are gone. I said how I hate that Carolina always falls into the lap. So I am just going to get completely different here and go Kucherov and Lehkonen, I think, right? I mean, there's no one else. Yeah, I guess it's just Lehkonen. I actually believe in the player. So I'm going to go completely different here. I've drafted a decent bit of the Carolina, Colorado at this point. I had a lot of I have a few, and I'm gonna get more, and it's easy to get more. So I'm gonna just do a totally different build here than I've done, and that's enough now for Colorado. I mean, I might take a look at Devin Taves. He is good enough, and to me, he's plays with Kale McCarr and McKinnon like all the time. Uh, I think Nertushian or Lehkonen mixing in with McKinnon and maybe getting a little bit around the power play could be helpful to if we see the McKinnon upside completely peak. But I actually think our Terry Lehkonen and Nertushian are very good, so I'm fine with that. So we'll see what ends up falling my way. But Tampa is a team that no one wants to draft. They're not that good. People have taken more Hagel than they have Stamkos. I just can't see it. I mean, Hagel's been good, but I don't know. I'm going to think about the Hagel thing. Definitely going to think about it. I don't know if I could actually do it. They just refuse to put him on that top power play. They absolutely refuse to do it. Sorry, just reading a text and then that was way too long. No question still. Let me just respond. Okay. Yeah. This is interesting. I mean, I left Carolina wide open. This is I really do kind of like the build. Like I definitely drafted something quite similar. Again, the Florida, Carolina, Colorado. That's going to be. It makes sense. It's hard to get that different. It really is. I'm going to try my best here to draft a bit of an oddball, if you will, because it's just it really is easy to fall into the same very similar teams over and over again. So I'm going to avoid it this time and just going to look through these teams one more time, just make sure I'm not missing anything. Again, this is a great opportunity for me to jump on a Winnipeg, but it's just they literally could play in the first round, and if not, they're going to play in the second round. So I am just going to load up on Tampa. They're basically a lock to get in the playoffs at this point. Please don't leave the stream yet. And I'm going to take both goalies. And this is a Stanley Cup rematch of 2 years ago. Maybe people don't like that feel. I don't know, but this Tampa team is bad, but they're not as bad as maybe you think. Again, it's like, what is the problem here, right? Am I blind again? Where is stats? I didn't click on it last time. Oh, okay, cool. I don't want your cookies. Please go away. No? Okay, I don't care. The reason they've been this bad is right here in net. Not the thing you think, right? I mean, it's not the reason why Tampa should be bad. It's obviously not Nikita Kucherov, who has 114 points casually, just no big deal. Really, it's just this team is not that bad. Duclair has jumped up on that top line. I don't know if he's quite draftable, but maybe again, you could take a couple stabs at that, but probably Hagel over him. But it's goaltending. That's the problem. But if they figure it out, I mean, again, Vasilevsky missed a ton of time with an injury, came back, sucked, and now he's been decent again. If that comes back together in the playoffs, we're talking about one of the hardest, grinders in the league. It feels like it's been hit or miss. It's been shaky. It's. I know we can put it together though. So I'm up next. Take a look around. I'm good. I'm gonna grab Hedman to go with no defenseman right now. And I'm going to take a look at D, honestly. This is. I think I'm just going to take Devin Taves. I hate it, but honestly, I don't think it's wrong. With a Colorado, what I've built here is definitely lacking at the point, and I'm not sure what I'm going to take again at D. I'll move over Roman Josi, I guess, but I'm certainly missing at defense in a pretty big way. But even if you look at the entire board of defensemen, where right here, Makar is obvious, Bouchard is obvious. After that, I mean, I don't know. Montour is pretty good, but not been fantastic this year. Morgan Riley's been honestly better than most probably even consider, as I showed, but slower as of late, and not. I mean, which defenseman has the roof ceiling smash other than Makar and Bouchard? Like it just feels like everything after that is a bit the same, or there's at least a nice little window of all very good all-star caliber ish defensemen, but none of them that are just completely out of this world. Hi, Evan. Why? Okay. What's up, friend? Evan's a friend from college. He's just coming in. He's coming in clowning right now. Yeah, let's finish this draft. We have what? 10, 11, 12, 3 more picks. I'm gonna. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do what I was thinking, as long as it's not gone. So I think this is where I grab a Kings team on the other side. I'm basically saying that Edmonton fails in this scenario, which I kind of need. So I'll take Kempe and Biala, and then I can make a final decision. And at 5 wingers feels a little bit more than needed, but I basically completely hitched my ride to McKinnon at this point. So McKinnon's just, if you take McKinnon or McDavid, I think you end with 2 centers, I think you're okay. And I've really built such a strong Colorado Tampa team with Point having a lot of upside that I'm not that worried about filling out center every single week. So yeah, I mean, I don't think that's wrong, especially with this wing. Everything outside of Kucherov is a bit thin. Like Yertushkin is the only guy very predicate on McKinnon being good enough and playing with McKinnon. So wing is weak. I'll go with this. LA is going to be a pretty big underdog against the Oilers, and the Oilers goaltending leaks enough. It's because these two guys are absolutely jamming in the puck, and then they move on and advance at a high clip. And these are guys that are going undrafted in probably, I don't know, 75% of lobbies right now. I mean, how often have you seen them? Maybe correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, Saucy, what? What were you looking for? So this leaves me with the final pick, though. Gonna think on it for another minute. I feel like I need an upside. I think I need D, which is already what I'm clicking on here. It's not the best. I mean, Hedman's good, but I almost don't want to entirely rely on Tampa. So think about it logically here. I have 1 center. If let's just say again, Colorado makes the cup, 1 winger, 1 D, and 1 flex with a goalie. I'm probably losing almost no matter what in the finals, like unless if Tampa's there. And yeah, I mean, there's just really nothing in the East that I could draft and feel good about. I might just take Drew Doughty, build up the West. Say I get a team in the West, and I kind of just need Tampa to get there. Yeah, I mean, I think that this team is sort of Like, what can you build with Colorado? The only thing is that there's going to be teams that are. But again, are you going to get McKinnon, Nurtushkin, and Makar and Georgiev? It's got to be almost. That might be zero. There might be zero with that. So I do think McKinnon, Makar, and Georgiev could be at least have been done. Maybe I don't even know. It's weird, but to think like this is a Colorado Cup team, no matter what, almost Colorado, LA Cup conference final, incredibly unlikely, but crazy stuff happens. And again, the thing is funny is like everyone loves the Oilers path because they take on the Kings that they don't like, and then they take on the Canucks. Well, or a wild card team. I mean, what if the Kings upset them? I mean, last year, who thought Florida was going to do it? So I guess I'll take Drew Doughty, and I absolutely hate myself, but it's going to be like 0%. Um, yeah. Oh, I shouldn't have exited out. Let me just try it again. Can I go to the full draft? Let's see. We'll wait a second this time. I feel like I jumped too fast. This is stupid. Let me see the whole thing. Let's load up another one. Well, how long have I gone? An hour 10? Longer than I wanted to. Let's load up one more if we can. Waiting on two. Waiting on one. Let's just do one more. If I get the 101 again, I'm just gonna quit. I'm just hang up the stream. I'm seriously gonna end it. For the love of God. Thank you. The 4, the spot I said I hate the most. Thank you. The only good thing about 4 is that the decision's made for me. I like my pick is just made for me. I either get incredibly miracle lucky and get a McDavid, or I take the Chucker Matthews. Again, I mean, Draisaitl, they just don't want to put. Okay, welcome to the 101. You're the influencer now. If they gave me, Jesus, they gave me 3 in a row. I mean, people would be rioting in the streets. So yeah, I mean, I think that the Draisaitl, I get it. The power play, whatever. I mean, there's a path. I mean, I think he's a top 6 guy, but 5th overall, I still don't like it. Do I have any? I think the problem I'm going to run into is there's only one spot to get him, and that's going to be 5th. I think I did take him actually at 6-1 one time when he slipped. Just like someone was like Pasta, and I just said, screw it, I'll take him now and see what I can build with him and like Bouchard. But it's I'm definitely not fully on the he's completely needs McKinnon train as Matt is, but okay, hold on. Let's pull this one up, Evan, because first off, it seems like late for the morning skate right now. Well, if you read the name, Evan, it's the DJenerate Gambling Show. That's the DJenerate Gambling Show right now. You child. You idiot. I'm almost willing to call him a nincompoop. Austin Matthews. So, yeah. If you don't like the name, get out of here. But yeah, I'm taking Austin Matthews. The best part about taking Austin Matthews is the entire draft is easy after that. It started, but it was difficult to start. But all of these Leafs have fallen pretty hard. Ironically, or it's funny enough that the Leafs fell, but they did in the spring nonetheless. Okay, and no one's left yet. Weird, but here we are. We have Matthews. We have a Leon team. I mean, just absolutely set to take Zach Hyman. Well, I think I'm going to do it. I think this is the dumbest thing in the world, but I'm going to do it. I obviously know that they're both in the same yada, blah, 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 but I don't even care. Like, I'm getting Pastrnak and Matthews. I'm getting the 2 of the top 4 highest goal scorers. I'm just doing it. I don't even care. I don't know how often that's going to happen. Pasta's fallen a bit. I think he was a pretty obvious, but I just don't care. I think I'm just doing it. I mean, so McKinnon and Makar, rare but doable. So you're going to get McKinnon, Makar, and Georgiev, or not. You're going to take Panarin. Okay. Interesting. Man, interesting. Gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know why no one wants to draft Colorado this time when I'm not in the 101. Okay, well, I'm gonna take Nylander. Yeah, I mean, this is just the upside team at this point. I'm wearing the St. Pat's jersey. Obviously, the Maple Leafs. Let's make the weirdest Maple Leafs team. They don't end up playing in the first round, I hope, and they play in the second round, and I carry a team to the next round, hopefully with a Leafs onslaught. Um, I swear on my life, if none of these freaking guys, just please take Georgiev Tushkin. Just don't let anyone get away with it. They can't. They can't keep getting away with it. Oh my god. I don't know. If you get McKinnon, Panarin, Makar, and Georgiev, I think it's rage quit time. I mean I just can't do it. I'm building something here. I don't think I can jump onto that myself. I'm opening myself up to everything in the West right now, and I'm not sure what I want to do. So I guess in theory I could do it, but I'm going to be building just an absolute dump of a team. I feel like if I take Georgiev, who I don't even like on the other, yeah, I'm not doing it. Um, yeah, so I think I'm just gonna I'm really going Vancouver. Yeah, I don't think I've done Vancouver yet with it. Oh, all Canada finals. I mean, who would have thought? Jesus Christ. Well, he took Tushkin. Why? You're really getting Georgiev with this. I cannot believe it. Why in the world did this guy not take him? Just double. Okay, whatever. The dumbest lobby in the world continues. What an unbelievable team you're building with Colorado. This is going to be a rarity right here. This is going to be an absolute rarity. This is exactly what I hoped to happen in my life. It didn't. Well, I guess I'll draft 150 and hope a little bit harder. But I am going to be building the hopefully if this guy takes Marner, I'll just throw up. Okay. So that's good. And we'll queue up Vancouver now. The All Canada final that everyone is predicting. Yeah, I mean, dude, what am I going to do here? What was I supposed to do? This is not on me. There's two people drafting Colorado. Why this guy didn't just, I mean, I feel like I would have absolutely unequivocally just grabbed both goalies there and just take it. I mean, that feels like an absolute 1 in a million that you're going to get both of those goalies. But instead, we give the 1 in a million of McKinnon, Makar, and Georgiev. No one's even going to take Igor now, so that's great. I'm certainly not. Someone will do it. I think someone will do it. People absolutely love Georgiev. Well, yeah, I'm gonna take Demko just to be safe. This guy makes me nervous for some reason. He just hasn't fixated on a Western Conference. Oh no, he doesn't have a goalie though. Yeah, this is going to be the Super Rangers Colorado team. I just have to tip my hat. I mean, there's nothing else I can do in this scenario. I'm not going to ruin my team. I have a really really interesting build going, and Shurkin slips 14 past ADP. What an unbelievably stupid time we're having here. Nobody. I just don't get why this guy continues to not now. He just jumped off Colorado. Like they were there. Like I mean, do it if they're not there, but they're there. They're right there for you. Now this guy takes a Ranger. Harv, you're not going to be president if you keep doing garbage like this. You could have started the Rangers. You did. You have no goalies. Why didn't you take Shesterkin? What were you thinking? Oh boy. Well, whatever. This is just absolutely bananas. This is probably the craziest lobby. And I mean, look at my team though. I'm not really going to complain that much. This team is This is going to be a gauntlet to get out of. Absolutely insane to get out of lobby. I have Matthews, Pasternak, Nylander, Miller, Besser. I mean, Miller and Pedersen. Just, you need to beat that. And that's the only problem that, what's your, yeah, Blake, right? Yeah. It's the only problem Blake has is that Blake needs to get past. I mean, there's two just monsters here. But again, you have McKinnon and Panarin and Makar with two. This is going to be an absolute war zone to get out of. I feel bad for everyone, but we're going to grab Quinn Hughes, who has like 100 points. Because why would my team not need Quinn Hughes? Quinn Hughes probably is the third or fourth like best playoff defenseman, maybe. Man, it is interesting because you think the only problem with Quinn Hughes, he'd be going so much higher if that team just felt more likely to advance than even though they're, let's just go to the entire league right here, number one in the West, not in points percentage, but sort by points percentage. But yeah, I mean, there's no one has any interest. Yeah. Yeah. No, honestly, yeah, Blake, if I see one complaint from you about any draft ever again, yeah, I will just say, remember the time you drafted the best team ever? And then you'll say, oh yeah, I did do that once, didn't I? Um, I mean, I'm kind of building I mean, I love my team. I'm gonna take Morgan here, I guess, and we'll see. I'll queue up Besser. I almost wanted to jump to another team, but I'm not even sure what at this point. I'm gonna go back to. I know these like pretty well, but just feel a little bit better about it. I mean, yeah, I think I like the wild card view more. I think I know what I'm gonna do here. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Not gonna play my cards. Just keep. I like to keep something in the queue so I don't run into what I did last time. Like the draft one, I should have just queued up LA and Nashville. Right, Nashville. I should have queued them both up and then made a decision. If someone wanted to jump on one, I could have just said, all right, whatever, you jumped on it. Good for you. All right, Kyle Connor was the guy I was going to take, but he is gone. I was kind of thinking I could just build up that West, but is what it is. No need to worry. I like this right here. I took Pasternak, but I'm probably not taking Boston. Just maybe one more guy at the end, but they're definitely taking Toronto on in the top four. They could take him on round one. So I'm giving myself an incredible chance to advance. I think with that kind of a build and hopefully 7 games if that series did happen, but there's just no sense in, I think, overdoing it in that respect. So, man, I mean, there's really no position here I think is of great need, but I mean, Brock Besser has almost 40 goals. I might as well just grab him, just go all the way in. I mean, Vancouver and Toronto are so incredibly condensed with their scoring that if either are getting there, I don't feel bad about either of these teams. And you just know there's nothing else to really even think about. Like the only other player is Tavares, and he's just been terrible. So I got all of Toronto and Vancouver. So I built the Super Toronto Vancouver team. This is a great team that Blake has. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I would probably, Kempe makes sense here because yeah, you're and Fiala, you need some winger help in a big way, and you're kind of rooting for Edmonton to fail. So yeah, I mean, I don't even know. Um, I don't know why it's showing Truba. Whatever. What to do? Really don't know. I'll accuse Samsonov. Yeah. um, you know what? Sorry, I'm gonna take Hellebuck instead. Screw Samsonov. I'll take two absolute just unbelievable goaltenders. Um, I'm just gonna run that. Samsonov is bad. I'll build the all Boston and all Canadian team. I apologize in advance to our friend who took Kyle Connor. He had his chance. Let's look. He took Kyle Connor here and then just never. I mean, you had a chance. You had your chance, right? Or maybe not. Well, you did. You took Swayman. You didn't have to take Swayman. Why the hell did you take Swayman? What the hell is this guy doing? Just why would you not have taken Kyle Connor there? I mean, Connor Hellebuck. You have no Boston. You loaded Florida. Beside myself. Okay. I think it's just Josh Morrissey to finish it then. I mean, what else am I doing? Let's just take another absolute. I mean, every player on my team is just unbelievably good. Let's just take the best team in the world. That is the second best, actually, because the best team is also here. Yeah, Samsonov, Vesna. I mean, let's get. All right, I'm not going to leave this time. No, it doesn't even let you. You can't do it. Yeah, all right. So I didn't mess up. There's nothing I could have done. I couldn't see the full draft, and it won't work. Okay, that's an hour and 25 minutes. That's more than enough time of me talking into the void. But it says I have 129 viewers, which probably includes. I did learn this. Definitely has to include Twitter. So now that you're all here, again, I started. And I will start every show by showing an insane sports betting ad. So I'll show this again.